I think writing to an audience there's a responsibility to it. That audience, do I think of that audience as my servant or my servant to the audience? When you go to a good concert, I remember going to a James Taylor concert way back when, and it was about 3,000 people in the room, but towards like halfway through, I felt like he was drawing me closer and closer and closer and closer to him. And the songs, some of the lyrics too, which are spot on for me at that time. I was a teenager and it was like, oh wow, and I can't stop singing the songs. And some of those lyrics still resonate in me, and sometimes in a tough day I can hear a James Taylor song, which is the power of a song, which is I want to teach you how to do that. But he made me feel like I was more important than him, which is what my whole life journey's been about. Whenever I go and play somewhere, if I go play to an audience, if I go to a studio and I'm working with the musicians, I always treat people like they're more important to me. That might sound like, really? Yeah. How am I going to get the best out of them if I lord it over them, if I boss them around? When I go to a place, if I can, love an audience, then we make a connection. But to write a song for an audience means I have to know something about them. And I have to know the sound that they would connect. And I might experiment, that's for sure. Try different things. That didn't work, that's working better. And then that's like being a scientist, like a mad scientist. I'm always trying okay, let's try something different. But I do that by trial and error. I try it by practice many times over. Back in Australia, I used to play in one particular club every Friday night. I was there for 4 years. And much the same audience. And after a while you learnt, if this audience is a bit, tired tonight, you just do this song and they're up in the dance floor and then you got them pumped up again. If you want to get them bored and go to sleep, you do these songs. You learn. Okay, so songwriting is the same. Come to the Songwriter Workshop and do any of the courses, any of the singular courses. You can watch some free videos up there. But if you really want to make a breakthrough in your songwriting, do one of the courses, one of the bundle courses. I'm going to give you a bunch of practices, little homework practices, to consider that'll make you undo the way you write songs now, undo the way you write a lyric, if I signed you to a publishing deal, I'd make you go back and rewrite every song just a little bit, or to prove to yourself that that's the best line I can write there. That's the best verse I've got. That's the best chorus. That's the best key. That's the best tempo. That's the best arc of the melody. That's the best rhythm, the meter to the lyric. That's the best rhymes I've got. I always talk about songwriting as real estate. You've got 12 or 16 or 20 lines and you've got to get all this information. How much information can we squeeze in? How much of that story, how much of that empathy, that passion, that joy, that energy, how much can we get into a song? Well, that takes work. But after a while, you just do it, like muscle memory. After a while now, I can write a complicated song sometimes in a sitting, in a couple of hours, because I've got the process is very clear in my head. The audience I've identified. I'm not second guessing. I choose very quickly in my process. Once I get, the inspiration, I get the end sound in my head. I have to have a great purpose to write a song. Identify the theme, the lyrics, identify it pretty quickly. Yes, it's for that audience because that theme marries the purpose. Yep, that's great. And I get the tone and context. How do I know? Yeah, I know that audience. I know what they need right now. Yep. Okay, what sort of, if they do that song, oh yeah, the style would be that, and the genre's that, yep. And then the form and structure is going to be this. And all of a sudden, the song's happening. I do that in 2 or 3 hours, the writing process. And in the afternoon, I might be demoing it. Okay, it can happen like that because you have a process. And because you've worked through the process, and that's why I give you homework, right? I give you homework. I hated, you watch other videos, I hated homework so much as a kid. I didn't do it. And I suffered for it. So now I do homework. And I'm studying my own things. I'm learning my own things right now, making myself learn things at night time. My wife says, I'm going to bed now, you can go and do your courses. I'm practicing learning new things, always. So I never ask people to do something I haven't done myself. And I'm still doing the same process that I'm teaching up on this course myself every time I write a song. So the songwriterworkshop.com. Come on up there and let me help you change your songwriting life. Will.